I was able to see Decision to Leave at the New York Film Festival. It's coming to theaters very soon. Is it worth your time? Yes. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. One of the best directors in the business has a brand new movie, Decision to Leave. This is a very interesting film. We're going to dive into it right now. From a mountain peak in South Korea, a man plummets to his death. Did he jump or was he pushed? When a detective arrives on the scene, he begins to suspect the dead man's wife, but as he digs deeper into the investigation, he finds himself trapped in a web of deception and desire. This comes to us from director Park Chan-wook, who is behind so many incredible movies. The notable one recently being The Handmaiden, one of my personal favorites, Old Boy. We're going to start with the rating. I can't find the official rating. I'm assuming it's rated R. There are some things in there such as language and violence and imagery that could lead me to believe that. It's definitely not one for the kids, but it is a movie that is going to appeal to those who enjoy crime-related films, a mystery of sorts, but it's not just that. And that's what I gathered from the trailer. I thought, you know, this could be something that keeps me on my toes consistently trying to solve this murder and find out what actually happened to this man that fell. Everyone is assuming he fell, but is that just because everything was so strategically placed? It looked like it was an accident when it was really on purpose. We don't know the answer as an audience. It's up to our main character who is seeking that answer. He's a fascinating character, someone who, you know, lives a very average and repetitive home life. We see these scenes happen over and over. He goes home. He's happy. Well, he's happy enough. His wife is sweet. But when he encounters the widow of this man who died, he starts to feel something that maybe he didn't expect. And he's a man on a mission consistently. He puts his job first. But this time around, he's kind of changing that mentality. And that's showcased to us so beautifully by the director. And the genre starts to shift just a little bit. It goes from an investigative crime thriller to something with a bit more romance, a bit more spark, and the beautiful way that these moments are showcased and filmed. And I think the filmmaking in its entirety in this movie is something that's going to sweep a lot of people off of their feet. I look at the technical aspects before I dive any deeper into the story. This is a movie that leaves its mark and makes its imprint mostly through the technical elements. We're talking cinematography, editing. It's one of the best looking movies in terms of editing I've seen in like 10 years. The camera pans from one side of the character to the other, and in the middle of that, we get a scene transition. Okay, maybe that's not the best way to describe it, but when you see the movie, you're going to see how impressively put together, how strategically put together each scene is. And even with one or two flaws with the story, and we'll dive into those things, visually, it's so stunning, it's so engaging, and you're never bored because the editing, the transitions, the visuals, the cinematography is able to keep you so on your toes, you're just baffled with how well made this movie is. It's so well done. And that's almost solely on the director. And clearly, I mean, an amazing cinematographer. Even the score was fantastic. The composer, yes, you could praise everyone all day long, but it all comes back to Park Chan-wook as a director. And oh my God, did he not just knock out everything that had to do with that? Austin, how is the story? Well, like I said, the story shifts genres a couple of times because there are certain moments that are so intense when he's in the middle of investigating this murder and other mysteries that come along with that. But there are also 20-minute spans in the movie when it kind of goes off track and turns into something different. Get a lot of scenes between our main two characters, the two characters that are in the poster together. The chemistry is off the charts between these two characters. And, well, Austin, I thought the guy was married. Yes. But the relationship between these other two, it's interesting. It's not something that's super obvious at first. The way that they interact with each other, he is all business immediately, but there are subtle cues and subtle things that he does, whether it be trying to gather information from her, presenting her with information to get a little bit of feedback, and just the idea that he's still, you know, investigating her along with many others for the murder of this man. He's just not sure. That adds a new dynamic to that relationship. It makes it a less stale relationship than others that we've seen in this type of film. But that's the driving force. You know, you have the murder, you have the solving of that murder, but the driving force is the chemistry between the leads, and that was fantastic. When I start to talk about flaws with the decision to leave, it's hard because the movie is really long. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. I do believe it went on too long, but this isn't a pacing problem. This isn't something that felt like it went on too long. It was more so the reflection of kind of looking back and seeing how this film could have ended about 20 minutes earlier, and it would have made all the sense in the world. It wouldn't have been the happiest ending, but I would have been A-okay with that. And there are amazing moments in the finale of this film, especially within the final 5 minutes, that will have you reaching for the tissues. And it's not a film that truly ends in a satisfying way. I can't say how. There was one or two things left on the table, and I'm saying to myself, man, you spent so long on these other elements. Why didn't you give us more of that? Because that's what works so well. So when you finally get to that finale, you're going to be saying, all right, well, maybe we could have ended earlier. Even then, I appreciate what they were putting in those final 20 minutes to give us just a bit more, to not only live in this world longer, but to see more of that relationship play out. And that, again, was such a driving force. And the way that those moments are filmed, I could talk about the filmmaking all day long, and I might, but I won't film it. Before I give you guys my score, are you looking forward to this movie? Is it one that speaks to you? Are you a fan of this director? If so, what is your favorite movie? And if you enjoyed this review and you want to drop that like, that would be awesome. It helps the channel. Decision to Leave is fantastic. This has everything you want in a cinematic experience. The craft and attention to detail is on point. The editing and transitions are absolutely outstanding. There is a lot to process, but this is, in my opinion, one of the best movies of the year. I don't know if everyone's going to feel that way because there are some inconsistencies with the story, but I didn't care all that much. I was looking past it because the experience was just, it was incredible. I'm going a 90% with my score. What a well-made movie. What an engaging movie, and one that looks so drastically different than anything you're going to watch this year. All right, guys, thanks again. I'll see you soon.